Ice Cube works for the Department of Homeland Security and apparently has the power of God because not only can he see everything and everyone, he can also literally just click on a person and the computer instantly identifies who they are, even if their face isn't visible, and all of their information. He can even instantly start listening to their phone calls and see their texts. His morning routine appears to consist of him clicking on random people, cars, and buildings so that the computer can relay if there's anything wrong with them. Then Ava Longoria, who works at NASA, calls him to ask if he knows anything about this crazy storm she's been tracking, which has blinded all the satellites for 2 days. Ice Cube responds with, "No, I watch people, not weather," because he hasn't considered the scenario of people talking about the weather or the satellites. Ice's reaction to watching the storm gives us our first iconically bad line delivery.
All right, that's crazy right there.
He then begins the first of many blatant abuses of his power by spying on his daughter. It would also seem that he must have programmed this government spyware himself because it automatically identifies his daughter's baby daddy. You may wonder why Ice Cube is the only person working at the NSA. Well, they covered that. It's Sunday, and there will be no government surveillance on the Lord's Day. Except for Ice Cube. Even if it is the day that they're supposed to do the raid on the big super hacker they've been after for a while. While tracking the location of the hacker, Ice decides to FaceTime his pregnant daughter so that he can berate her for buying a muffin. Having also hacked her smart fridge, he's concerned she doesn't know how to keep proper nutrition, despite her being a literal genius medical biologist. Then he FaceTimes his son to tell him that he needs to become an NSA spy like his old man, because apparently Sunday is disappointment day for Ice Cube. His son responds by saying, "Dad, I don't want your life." Then as the FBI is about to raid that hacker, Ice checks some security cameras in the building. One is on the ground, pointed at a single cabinet. Another is clearly an old internet video. Ice is unfazed by these oddities. The agent then does this raid while FaceTiming Ice Cube, but the hacker isn't there. This is where you see what makes this cubed Ice performance so special because as the saying goes, acting is reacting. Meteors begin to rain all over the planet, causing mass destruction as he watches in horror. He then FaceTimes his son, who answers because neither of them can see why a phone call would be more appropriate while he's running through an exploding city being pelted with space rocks. Then he does the same thing with the FBI agent, where we see this giant machine thing for the first time. Then his son calls back and tries to let him know that he has all the answers for why aliens are invading the Earth. This does not pique Cube's interest, and he hangs up. Then there's a conference call with America's leaders, where Ice delivers the monologue that should win him the Razzie for worst performance of the decade. A delivery so good, the director chose not to show Ice Cube at any point during it.
Based on their prioritized destruction of these critical intelligence command centers, my analysis suggests nuclear power facilities are next. Electric grids will follow, leaving us completely helpless.
This is where you wonder what type of crack the writer might have been smoking, because after we find out these alien machines have strategically knocked out all of our satellites and sucked the data from all of the government data storage facilities, causing planes to stop planing, helicopters to stop helicoptering, and even boats to stop boating, Ice Cube is still able to both live track every single military encounter on the planet and watch everything from military drones that are still flying above the city. Now witness one of the most awkward evil plot reveals of all time, while also learning that Ice Cube's character doesn't know what a Trojan horse is.
The more data it consumes, the smarter it gets.
These things eat data. Wait a minute. Holy shit. This whole attack is just a big diversion to get those tripods to the data centers. And those tripods are just Trojan horses to get those little bugs into the servers. To get to the data.
I mean, if hordes of data is what these aliens want, then what they should do is just go on vacation with my mom and suck the photos out of her phone each day. Even though Ice Cube's son calls and spews all of the same conspiracy theory allegations as the super hacker he's supposedly been tracking for months, it takes another YouTube post and Ice messing around with the vocals on the video to connect the dots that they're the same person. His son sends him all these documents to show that the government has been hiding an even bigger surveillance data center than the one Ice works for, and that the government has known about these data-eating aliens for decades and still chose to hoard all this data, thus dooming us. Oh, and of course, Ice Cube's boss is somehow the one behind all of it. Ice calls his boss to confront him, and boy, is it some peak dialogue.
When you turned on Goliath, you rang a dinner bell that traveled throughout the whole galaxy.
The irony of complaining about mass surveillance while also working at the NSA and using his powers to illegally stalk all of his family's activities is clearly lost on Ice Cube. Also, even if the government didn't hoard all this data, wouldn't the aliens still have come to suck the data from all of the tech companies that are also hoarding gobs of data? Cube gets iced out of his security access by his evil boss, but his son hacks him back in. Now, he's down to join the rebellion and build a virus with his son's ragtag band of hackers who have cool names like Code Crusher. But before saving the world, Ice spends 15 minutes whipping up this amazing YouTube video which exposes his boss and the mass surveillance database he created, which is different and much worse than the one that Ice Cube works for and abuses daily to do whatever he feels like because he didn't know about this one. It's also unclear how all financial records and Facebook were deleted from existence, but YouTube still works. Then they upload the virus to hopefully destroy the aliens, and it seems like it's working. Until...
I'm being hacked. They're hacking us. They're eating our data. Our data's being drained.
Then these things pop off, fly away, and annihilate all the hackers. But not Ice Cube's son, because he's the only sophisticated hacker of government mainframes who thought to use a fake IP address. Also, Ice Cube doesn't seem to know how to spot a green screen. This is the climax, so here's where we're at. The data-eating aliens now know that the government's secret stash of private communication data is hidden deep underground in Ice Cube's building. Why this relatively small group of servers is more desired than other far bigger server farms, we don't know. But the government decides they're gonna bomb the building so they can't get to it. Ice Cube and his family have the time it'll take 2 stealth bombers to get from Central Virginia to Cube's building in DC to figure something out. How these planes still work despite the aliens previously rendering all planes, helicopters, and boats inoperable, we also don't know. But Ava Longoria has just discovered the aliens are both organic and machine, hence why a computer virus didn't work. So Ice Cube's daughter's baby daddy, who delivers for Amazon, says, why don't we just reprogram the alien's DNA to cannibalize itself? Duh. Then Baby Cube is like, that's right, my sister did just invent a medicine that does that in humans. And Cube's like, perfect. We'll just translate the DNA sequence from her medical breakthrough into code, which is totally possible because the daughter has that DNA sequence saved on her phone. But one problem remains. Ice Cube needs a thumb drive to upload, and they aren't allowed at the NSA building where he works. So now, Amazon Boy has to fly the drive into this lockdown building and to this deep underground level with his Amazon drone, which he can only do if they order something from Amazon, which works until the drone gets knocked down and they have to bribe someone to flip it over with Amazon credit. Oh, and while that's all happening, Ice Cube tells his daughter over the phone how to commandeer a military drone so that his son can fly it to provide cover for the Amazon drone from the alien ships that are trying to take it out. And his son knowing how to fly a military drone makes sense because we saw him playing a flight simulator for a couple seconds earlier. Then after all that, to provide even more tension, Ice Cube can't open the door to the servers, so his daughter has to look through old security footage to spot someone entering the door code. But by God, they pull it off just in time and have a lovely baby shower later.